let's run through a K all motor M1 race engine. I figure by the time this gets edited, the cat will be out of the bag because Jamie would have been running fast at that point. You know?
No pressure,
Uh,
Jamie.
No pressure at all. It's easy. I mean, like I said, we're at the stage now where the 150 was the big eye opener. I mean, you can't lie with mile an hour doesn't lie. And mile an hour and 14 distance don't lie.
His 150 was run at 2700 DA plus 2700. Everybody else's 150 was run at 1000 or less.
What did you end up with plenum volume, Dave?
I think we got it up to 3.8, which is, 3.8 or 3.9.
I'll just see what taper it's got. So if we work the window out on 15, it's going to be that too. And so 9.5.
I know I'm going to fall into the calculator rabbit hole tonight.
So this gives the angle of the runner is 3.4 degrees, and the total volume of the intake runner, so just from the head window to the plenum opening, is 433 cc's.
Yeah, that's cool.
And if we add 130 to that, that'll give us our total induction volume. And that is 570 roughly cc's. So
now, Jake, what is the runner angle calculation taken into account?
That estimates the rough growth rate from the port window to the plenum opening.
Okay. Yeah, area 1 to area 2 over X distance.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. Yep. So I'll put 9.5 in there. The rough window on a 2J is about 2 inch. So I just did manifold here on this one. And we're talking about 3.8 at the opening. So it'll give us around that 3.5 odd degrees. And that's included. So that's 1.75 aside.
What would be a good total in like the total intake volume plenum plus runners for
usually any engine is 95 to 105 is your target. If you can get it in that's the sweet spot, and that helps with that gulp effect. And think of it like one in the cartridge basically. So if we have all the volume the cylinder needs in the primary induction length, it only needs to exchange that volume and then refill. It's not actually trying to pull volume out of the plenum, right? So you have your total induction volume in the runner itself. Yeah.
So, what about the total including the plenum?
No, you don't include the plenum because they're two separate things. So primary induction length is our bidirectional phase, our gate on off, where our plenum's more constant flow, supply air. Sorry. Right. You know what I mean?
I got it.
So one's high speed and one's low speed. So the plenum should always be our low speed area, and the primary induction is our high speed.
What was our runner volume for our ideal Einstein 2JZ intake manifold? What was the...
Well, with our calculation, everything, we've come up at about that 570 total. That's from the valve to the plenum opening. So, and then we're 500 cc's, so we that's more than enough.
Yeah.
So you generally want to be around that. I try and get a minimum of 94, 95, and your top end's about that 105. So, and again, that's like all out power. So if you've got a little bit more, you're not going to hurt it.
That's a lot of nerding out to do for $6 or $7 a month. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I just put it all together. So this one here will do the whole lot, valves and everything. So you can put all your induction, what's in there. So all your information. So 51. Minor, major. Yeah, no. You said it was 60, Dave, across the other way? 51. Yeah. And this is divider. We're going to be about 27. So this one you can actually input the data in the cylinder head. So each side of the divider. So I've got divider width here, so 27 mil, divider height, 27 mil, and then you can set your top, bottom, and side cornices. I'll just put them all at 14.
What's the divider?
So
What's the divider now?
you know, the divider in the port.
Oh,
so this is another way.
Back in the head.
Yeah. So this is a little bit more in depth. So if you actually want to measure the cylinder head and put the cylinder head's measurements directly into this and calculate the total induction volume, taper, runner length, everything. So this is another way to do it. It's just a little bit more complicated, and you can change. Yeah, 14 mil radius. So that's yeah. So that's the shape of the roof radius.
Right.
So you can put in each one. So we've got top right, top left, bottom right, bottom left, right? I'm just going to make them all 14 because that's nearly a circle. So it's not quite. So, but this way, if you're porting and fix that one up, and you want to shrink the bottom radius and add a little bit more cross-sectional area through this section of the port to increase the minimal cross-sectional area, you can, right? So then same thing, we can put valve diameter in. We'll go 33.5. Then we'll go 6 mil, 88, and we can calculate that. And that'll give you your, what's that, entry? Yep, entry. So that'll give you your entry. That'll give you your divider area there. So single divider, then total divider, 221. That'll give you a single throat area, and then it'll give you your average port cross-sectional area. But that was I've put the window in this one. So that's total induction. And then I have another one where you can put lengths in as well, and then it'll calculate the total pore volume of that as well. So yeah.
So your divider calculation is basically additional volume that you're subtracting out of the port volume, right?
Sorry, say that again, Dave. I'll just get out of here. So listen.
The dividers, that calculation is what you're subtracting out of your total port volume.
So what that will do is that because we have two minimal cross-sectional areas in a twin cam, generally just down past the divider or just before the short turn, you can analyze your port. So you can put the data in that. So let's say we've got a stock 2J or a stock RB. And this is what I've been doing in the port videos to make people understand when we map the port CSA is go, well, I don't need to touch the window. I don't need to touch the throat. Here's the problem area. Let's make this, if it goes from 2,000 to 1,100 back to 1,500, then I know I've got a massive choke in the middle of the port. So now with that program, what I can say is, okay, if I put a 10 mil radius on the floor and try and shape it a little bit better, how much more cross-sectional area does that get me? Or if I take it from 27 to 28 mil wide and then put a little bit more of a radius. So it helps you understand how to shape the port to get those airspeeds much closer and get a better balanced port. And that's the goal.
That's cool, but that's not like obvious. I think you should make notes of how this, how can calculators be used in
Yeah. Definitely. Good idea. Yeah, that's the thing. I assume that, and this is like even with the YouTube series, like my mates were hassling me to do it. And I'm like, people know this, man. This is it's not rocket science. They know this sort of stuff. And they're like, Jake, they don't know it, man. Just do some videos. And we've got great feedback, And like you said, my problem is I assume that people know this. And like you said, some diagrams and stuff might help it. But yeah, that's definitely something we want to do.
Excellent. There you go, Jay. You're perfect now. Just designed in the internet in Australia.
Yeah. Need
Actually, they're ahead of us in time, so it was actually designed in the future.
Hey, Doc, what's going on?
We've got to travel to the future to save them.
Whoa, Doc, we're really here in the future. Huh. Looks different from how I imagined it. Who knows what kind of technological advancements and, societal progress we've made in 3 decades. Far out.
Yeah. Too funny.
You said prototype in 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's buttoning up the last shapes, and then probably when I send it to you, I assume it's going to fit pretty good. And you got to kind of really just tell me how much I can stretch the neck out on the throttle body.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I will. I just cooling fan. You know, the packaging constraints come into play. So
Mm.
just want to make it as nice as possible.
yeah, you'll see it. It's no taller than the stock manifold. It's just barely a little bit wider, and
Yeah,
throttle body's in the same general position, but it's designed for an 85 throttle body.
right on.
Nice.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, that was my line of questioning. It
Yeah,
was
yeah,
pretty
I think you will gain at least one subscriber today to
yeah,
your
yeah.
better.
Yeah,
We
well,
got
I think we
so
got I think we got
Well,
over a
I'm
thousand.
gonna go. I'm gonna go in. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'll
No,
give you the cup of coffee a month.
I'll hook you up, mate. I'll hook you up. But yeah, I think we
well.
got
Hey, look, I'm just gonna, in full disclosure, I'm sharing the password with these two guys. It's just
No,
it's like a Netflix account. We get the family plan.
family plan here. Yeah, I think we've got over 1,000 members now in 37 countries so far. But like I said, I haven't really pushed it yet. I want to get it on a bigger platform, and yeah,
Yeah, I
like
think.
Jay said, more. I'd really like an explanation video for each calculator. That'd be ideal.
I was
where
just
we
thinking
can
that
just
that
do
would be
this,
really
you know?
neat. Just embed a
Yeah,
video
yeah,
for each calculator.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that'd be cool.
And click on, how to use or something like that.
We're,
But
we're,
yeah,
we're promoting
my,
it right. We're promoting it right here. It's never too early to push this idea.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Awesome. Thanks, guys.
And
Yeah, I
I'll start
mean,
using them and putting out some content on them because, like I said, the drag race calculators, like even the general one with just weight, average horsepower. I mean,
Yeah,
that's such a big thing. Like guys, will go crazy over that. The internet
yeah,
racing is probably more.
yeah, yeah. Bench racing. That's it.
Those
yeah,
types of calculators go crazy for the internet.
I
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I look at some of the best videos on YouTube, like car engine stuff, and it's like I
Mm,
don't know, like you could tell that it's a very select group of people that watch it. Like
mm,
like your videos or like
mm,
Darren Morgan's videos. There's so
mm.
much gold in that stuff.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I wish more people would watch it. You know.
I think the problem, a lot of it goes over people's heads.
But I think this is
So
what this type of platform is good for, right? Because guys
yeah,
blow my inbox up where they're
mm,
getting that type of Darren Moore, like that type of high level
mm,
information broken down in a way where they can actually relate, even if it's just a face. Many
yeah,
guys
yeah,
know Jay's face and they can understand Jay's voice and the way Jay describes it, my voice,
yeah,
the way I talk, and the same thing with Dave. It's
yeah,
something really good, and I think
yeah, yeah.
the reach is much bigger than we think.
I remember the first time I read Smokey Yunick's book, his Horsepower Secrets book, and like I was a noob, so when I read that, I'm like, "What the hell is he talking about?" You got to read it 10 times before you finally sort of embody all of the concepts. Oh yeah, yeah, of course, of course, of course.
Yeah, yeah, and then it becomes like second knowledge. That's
Yeah,
right.
this is the same thing. I mean, the calculators, you see all of the inputs, and it could be
Yeah.
really intimidating. No different than
Mm,
Pipe Map or Engine Analyzer
mm,
Pro, whatever.
mm, mm. Yeah,
But with any sort of sim, it's garbage in, garbage out. You need the details in order to properly model it.
100%. Yeah.
Yes. It's great.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. No,
Will you catalog? Will you leave some example engines, for people to play with? You know, like stock dimensions or common cylinder head out. Like, you know,
yeah,
the
yeah.
EA
We
world,
want to.
there's 15 cylinder heads for every engine over
Yeah.
there. So having some of that, having kind of a library for someone to play
Yeah.
with would be
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. In the average CSA, we actually use in the description an AFR small block head, for example, and I think it calculates within its flow figures within one CFM or something like that. But yeah, that's what I want to add. Lots of examples, even balls and strokes. I want to make a database with all the different balls and strokes of different engines that people can look up. And because even I struggle with stuff like that. What's this? You know, we're doing a new V12 project for a company in WA. They're trying to go for like 3,000 horsepower. You know, the 1GZ 5 litre V12, and they're an absolute horrible. Yeah, yeah, they're horrible cylinder head. The valve size is like 2 or 3 mil smaller than a 1J, and that's basically two 1Js really. And same thing, I had to look up the bore and stroke, you know, just to do a little bit of math. But I want to have all that information on a database. So yeah, it's
what else?
handy.
Kay? What else can we model? What other trick questions can we throw at the professor?
Well, you know, getting to wander around your place and looking at some of those uh, highly modified K series heads, you know, probably the stuff that Jamie's toying with.
Oh,
Um,
let's go there.
yeah, that stuff is, you know, because the 2J cylinder head kind of sucks. You know,
Yeah, compared to the K,
right. It's
it's
good that
Okay,
it's,
day
so
and night.
you know, everyone will
let's
say
run
it's good that it's
through. Let's run through a K all motor M1 race engine. I figure by the time this gets edited, the cat will be out of the bag because Jamie would have been running fast at that point. You know?
no pressure,
Uh,
Jamie.
No, no, no
yeah.
pressure at all. It's easy. I mean, like I said, we're at the stage now where the 150 was the big eye opener. I mean, you can't lie with Mount R doesn't lie, and Mount
Mm-hmm.
R and four conditions don't lie.
Yeah.
His 150 was run at 2,700 DA plus 2,700. Everybody else's 150 was run at 1,000 or less. Like it was minus 700 when all the other guys were running 150s. It was minus 700. So that's power,
Yeah.
Mm.
right? So one of the big topics that we've been toying with, and you know, Jake, in our conversation, I just told you, it's like with this piston speed, I just don't think we can get things big enough, you know.
Mm.
And so we ran through that model on throttle body sizing. Why don't we do that? Like why don't we take a drag race M1 engine, plug in those specs, and then let's see how big the throttle body needs to be. How about that?
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah.
So
Done.
let's go to the calculator to see.
So the throttle body one, that's a common planum. It's not ITB, but it'll give us a
No.
start.
The 2JZ is a common plenum, but
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but
yeah,
the
the
throttle
Honda
body
stuff.
the throttle body calculator I have in here is for common planum.
Oh, you don't have an ITV calculator yet?
Well, that's the problem. It comes down to each individual producer of ITB, like how well their cross sectional area comes in, because a lot of them will come in, go flat, and then taper back in really, really fast. So it's not so much about the cross sectional area anymore, because those shapes through the throttle body are going to dictate how the air behaves, not so much the cross sectional area now. You know what I mean? So it becomes you're trying to manage a poor situation. if that makes sense. And then the throttle shaft itself, how wide's the shaft? Is it a 10 mil? Is it an 8 mil? Has it been milled flat? All those sort of things are going to come into it. You know what I mean? So that's why when me and Dave were talking, like with ITB, you might be as low as 160, 150 feet per second at the opening to try and compensate for what the throttle body's going to do, how much cross sectional area it's going to eat up.
Yeah, let me see here. Kinsler 73s are 120 feet per second, just under the bell.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 120 feet. So we can work from like we did with the 2J and see what that cross sectional area is going to be. Actually, we'll go into that one. So if you've got an average port cross sectional area, an average. Actually, yeah, that's what we might do first.
We want to know how big of a throttle body.
Yeah, so you're that far past the pointy end, man. It's R&D now. All right. So let's just start at the port. Let's take an average flow rate on an average cross sectional area.
Let me do 415. I think is safe.
Yep. 415.
And there's people that say 450. That's horse shit.
No, that's crap. Yep. All right. And what's that on a 36 or something?
38.
38. All right. And average cross sectional area of the total port? Rough numbers. So window plus minimal plus throat divided by 3.
Dave will probably find it faster than I will. Add in pipe max.
I'm looking at my numbers and I'm like confused now. So
oh, good.
To intake port cross sectional.
Probably
so 3.1 sound about right. That gets you at 320 feet per second on your average.
3.1. I can tell you the minimal.
I think it's bigger than that.
Cross-sectional area.
Yeah. So 3.2's 311 feet per second.
The minimal cross-sectional area is going to be 2250 millimeters squared.
How about we'll just calculate it, huh? We'll go out, we'll calculate it. Done.
We'll do 38 and then I'm running a 94 throat.
All right. 90 what?
94.
94?
Yeah.
All right. So let's go 2 valves, 38s, 6 mil stem, 94, and calculate. All right. So that gives us 3 inches at the valve. So 1950 basically square millimeters or 3 square inches. All right. And you said your minimal is 22 something?
No, the minimal cross-sectional area is 2004. That's the throat calculation. 2004 millimeters square. Oh, there you go. See your valve throat area 1002. Yeah.
Okay, so I got it. So 3 square inches at the valve. And what are we at the window? So we can even just use 2 inputs.
The window is at 2245.
Okay, so we're at 3.5.
It's pretty straight. There's not a whole
3.49. Yep.
You can't make it much bigger without blowing holes everywhere.
No, exactly. 3.4 plus. I'll just equals that divided by 2. So that gives us 3.25. 3.25. So now we'll go to this one. So we'll say 4.15, 3, 2, 3.5.
Where'd you get the 3.235 from?
So add the window and the minimal cross-sectional area divided by 2. So I'll just use 2 points quickly. So you pretty much taper down from the window to the seat, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, so all I did was add 3 to the 347, which was the window, and divided by 2 gives us 3.235. So you're around about, we'll call it 310 feet per second at the average. So now we can use that. Okay, so first area was 3.235. And that was 310. Now let's go 5. We're going to be way bigger than that. Yep. Let's go 6. And what did you say their target was? 120.
Under the belly.
Yeah, 120 under the bell. You said.
Oh yeah, feet per second. Yeah.
Yeah. 7, 6. Yeah, so you're nearly up near 8 square inches. There you go.
So how do we look at this system with the piston speed factored in?
So we can do that. Let me get out of here. So I'll just put 8.7 square inches at the bell. Let's go to volume. Yeah. So, all right, what do we got? Bore 90 or 90 and a half?
Yeah, 90. Use 90.
90.
Yeah.
Stroke.
It's like 102.9.
102.9. RPM. We're going to go
11,000.
11.
Yep.
Bang on. Yep.
Don't you go higher than that?
Yeah, I do. Like 11.
Sorry.
Yeah. You want to go high? All right, we'll go 11.5. All right. Valve head 38. Throat 4. 2 valves. We're only 4 cylinders. All right. Calculate. What's that? That's piston area. All right. So you got a 35.7 valve area. So interesting fact, the F1 had up to 37%.
Mm-hmm.
Valve area, and your 39.4 meters per second mean piston speed. But your throat velocity is huge. You're 386 feet per second. So that's up near like a 2-valve engine. So you're right, Dave. You can't get enough valve in this thing. And that was the video I did before about harmonics in boosted engines. They're just as important because they're even stronger. So a bad port, like even though we can cover a bad port with, and this goes back to what Jay was talking about, a really, really well-developed NA engine is an absolute brilliant boosted engine. That's because a really, really bad port, as that air comes in, the boost will ricochet, like the air has more oomph behind it now, right? Because it's denser. So if it deflects off an edge or a bad divider, it deflects 1 or 2 or 3 atmospheres worse. So that's 1 or 2 or 3 times more force.